Good morning, John.
Hey, buddy, good morning. This is going to be a very informal kind of pod. No intro music, no outro, no soundboard, no altertech.io music. Just you and I talking about community.
You went to Lake Satoshi. When was it? A week ago now?
A week ago, yeah.
Was it delightful?
It really was. It was delightful for my soul. My body had to pull energy from other places, but I came back physically exhausted, and my soul just filled to the brim with happiness.
Oh, that's lovely.
To the listener, you may hear planes flying overhead. I am recording from my gas well today, and it is right by an airport. So just consider that part of the ambiance for this episode. It's not a studio recording. I am in my office that is filled full of junk and equipment and old miners, which some guy is supposed to come pick up. T15s, a whole rack full of them that I think he feels some sort of connection to these machines. And as a miner, sometimes you feel that way. You know, as a mechanic, there's
hmm
certain tools you love or cars that you work on that you love. And I think miners are the same way. These are like what he started with. I bought them as part of a whole package. I didn't buy the miners. They were just in there. I was like, okay, well, I got to take these miners with me too. And he's like, hey, any chance I can get those T15s? I said, tell you what, they'll be here and you can come by anytime and get them if they mean something to you. So hopefully he does, because they're taking up valuable space in my office.
T15s. What
Yeah.
era are they from then?
In between S9s and S17s. They're double stacked. So the control board top part kind of looks like the same control board configuration as the S19, the
hmm
T19. Or man, I'm not in minor mode right now. The the double stack bit main
hmm
design that everybody is used to, but the power supplies on the side, they're cute. They're cute little machines.
Cute. Oh.
Mhm. Probably at this point, very great wheel chocks.
Hmm. You know what else is cute? Seeing all of our pals at Lake Satoshi. That's
Hmm.
cute.
For those that don't know, and I don't understand how you wouldn't know at this point of 3 years of talking about Lake Satoshi on the on our Ungovernable Misfits offerings, but Lake Satoshi is an event in Michigan that started with all of the Michigan meetup scenes. Michigan, which is a couple states over from me for our foreign listeners, I'm in Pennsylvania. It takes me about 6-7 hours to drive there. It is outside of Lansing, Michigan. Lake Satoshi has a benefactor, Mike, who's Bitcoin101.io and PF run that thing. Mike has a construction company where he digs up sand and has created a lake over the years. Sand for site prep for construction. That it's mostly an excavating company, I believe.
hmm
And during the winter, they drain the lake. I asked myself, how the hell do they drain this freaking lake? But I guess they just put it back on its course that it was on before, when it was just like a little pond or a stream or something like that.
hmm
They dig out sand. They make everything nice, banks, a little beach there, and fill it back up in the summertime. And Mike is just one of these wonderfully giving people who really cares about the Bitcoin community. Cares about his guys that he has working for them. You know, a lot of them are welcome to come and camp anytime they want, use the facilities, use the lake. He's just a really, really generous person with his time and money, and said, hey, let this be a mecca for all of the Michigan meetup people to come and enjoy themselves and get to know each other and commune with one another. So our good friend CHET has been a part of that Lake Satoshi scene for a long time, and he is also a generous, giving person and wanted to commune with all of his friends, and approached us a long time ago and said, hey, can you talk about Lake Satoshi? And we were like, yeah, we sure as hell will. And attended the first one, Sarah and I. Attended the second one with just my middle and youngest child. And this third one was the first time that I got to take my entire family to commune with other plebs and their children. And this was by far the most special event of all. And I'd like to dedicate this entire episode to just talking about that.
That's nice. Seems like if you're in America and you want to meet real Bitcoin people who don't just talk about price and aren't just a load of investment bros and all that kind of stuff, you want like real boots on the ground people who are actually building and doing and the pioneers. This is the place to go. At least from my experience and what you've told me, is like it's family orientated, it's like long-term connections,
Hmm.
it's not like a conference, bro. It's like families going to meet up who have a sort of shared vision of the future.
Hmm.
That's something you don't really see very often. It's something that you can't, like, it has to grow organically. You can't just like put on an event and it's the first event and you get that same feeling. You just can't do it.
A couple weeks before Lake Satoshi, there was the beach retreat in Wales,
Great
and
event.
I have to imagine it's very similar to that. You've been there. A couple of more of our ungovernable misfits friends have been there.
Hmm.
A guy I've been chatting with lately went and just said it was a wonderful experience. The Node Runners, they get together often and do events together. So this is the American version of that for everyone not here. It didn't matter that, to me at least, that any of these people were interested in Bitcoin at all. For this PMM show, the important things that we talk about are sovereign families, getting out of the rat race, seeing the world for what it really is, gaining some sort of independence for yourself in the way where you can be a functioning node in the Meshtadel. You're working on all your 8 forms of capital. You're doing your best to secure the future for your family. And there's certain things that you care about: spirit, soul, community, love. And all of us in the Meshtadel, well, Bitcoin's just a tool. If Bitcoin were to disappear tomorrow, I don't think our lives, well, a lot of our lives would be affected, of course, but it wouldn't destroy us. We would continue on
Hmm.
with the connections that we've made and the sense of spirit and camaraderie that we've built over the past few years. And this year's Lake Satoshi was really a great example of that. There wasn't so much Bitcoin talk. It was more about community and building relationships with one another.
So you had Bubba come down on his motorcycle, his new gleaming, was it? He's got the Honda Gullwing, is it?
It's a gold wing. It's not new, I can tell you that. He's like, "You got any duct tape? I need to duct tape one of these." I think like the louvers on there, I needed to duct tape them open because the fairing
Quality.
was, blocking the wind and not letting it get into him. Yeah, I think the bike was like 4 grand.
Okay. It's new to him though, isn't it?
It was new to him. Yeah, that's all that
Yeah.
really matters.
Yeah.
People did come from far and wide, and we've spoken about this on our Lake Satoshi ad reads. People that were coming from all over the place. We had a very good friend of the show come from southern Alabama. That's a long drive. Barn came
Hmm.
from Florida. Of course, everybody knows, uh, that Barn is quite the complainer, and
Oh yeah.
he had
Chief
a
Whinger.
chief whinger. He had a flight canceled and said, "Fuck it, they're not going to reschedule." So this is coming in from Florida, flying into Detroit, I believe, picking up an RV in Detroit,
Hmm.
driving that from the greater Detroit area to Lake Satoshi and setting up camp and bringing his kids as well. And they canceled the flight on him. And he's
Wow.
like, "Well, fuck it. I'm just going to buy tickets. I'm not going to wait for them to reschedule a flight for me or reimburse me or anything like that. I'm just going to say,
Hmm.
well, I'm out the money. This is very important to me. I want to be there." And so he came late the next day. We had friends come from Eastern Europe all the way to Lake Satoshi. That was the
Hmm.
furthest traveler mileage wise, and their flight was canceled coming from
Oh,
from California to
fuck's
Chicago,
sake.
and then drive from Chicago out there. So this was really a journey for a lot of people, not just getting in the car for a few hours. So when somebody
Hmm.
is that dedicated to come, that they are going to make the absolute most of the time that they have there, and they most certainly did.
How many people do you think there were this year?
I'd have to say I have no fucking idea. Maybe 200.
Oh, okay, that's
It
pretty big.
it it didn't matter to me what other people were there because we all set up on a hill that
Hmm.
overlooks Lake Satoshi that we affectionately called Meshtadhill.
Oh.
And in a line, it was bookended by my camp, which consisted of our good friend Solex Porter
Oh, what a guy.
and Bubba. Next to us was Mining Misfit, who had his candles, the Evie and Park candles, which we've promoted here. I do believe we have one or two Meshtadel boxes left where you
Mesh
can get
economy box.
Mesh Economy. Yes,
I think I saw one sell a couple of days ago.
it
I'm sure
did.
I got
Yes, that
pinged.
that was shipped out. It was supposed to be delivered on Saturday. To
Nice.
yeah,
Someone.
hope you received it. And I like to write a little note in there,
Oh.
very personal. And they were also selling lemonade, and this lemonade was absolutely fantastic. Every kid you saw running around had one of these big plastic tubs of lemonade. And they've got different flavors and such for the lemonade. And boy, the number of planes flying overhead, the number of rich people in this area that just fly planes around is
Just for a
really
laugh.
really stunning. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I got an extra $500 today. I'm going to go fly my plane.
That's brilliant. It would be fun.
Oh yeah, it would be. And next to them was a family. I don't know this guy very well, but he's a like Western Michigan, Indiana guy. He's more associated with like Carl and that side of Michigan. His
Hmm.
family was there. There were just people brought things to sell. Sure, the reason being is you like to participate in circular economy, but I think it was just more of a community thing. Well, we got something to sell, and people come up, and the kids get used to transacting in Bitcoin, and we get to talk to new people. They were selling freeze dried candies. You know this trend now?
What trend?
The freeze dried candy thing. I never really saw it before.
I don't even know what it is.
Well, people will take like Skittles or something like that and put it in a freeze dryer, and they expand and explode. And I don't know. It's a tasty treat.
I literally have no idea what it is. I don't
Okay,
understand.
all
Sorry.
right. I don't know any better way to explain it. Sorry. Next to them was more Meshtadel people. Carl, uh, Jackie had stuff to sell, 3D printed stuff. Carl had what did Carl have? Oh, maple syrup, of course.
Hmm.
And I had a bunch of gifts from Carl. A good friend of the show hosts machines, and when they go bad, he like contacts me and says, "Do you want to buy these machines?"
Hmm.
And I say, "Yeah, sure, okay, I'll buy them." And because I think the intention is sometimes people contact me and ask if I want a machine because I know that if I don't use it, I will give it away.
Hmm.
So we gave that away there. I guess
Nice.
this is a good place for the altertech.io ad read. I don't have any soundboard stuff, but altertech.io has been part of Lake Satoshi in the past. Last year, if everybody remembers, we gave away or did like an auction thing
Hmm.
for two Loki rigs.
Yep.
They were the Erlachers. They weren't the bit chimney, but it's the same kind of build. You're converting a 240 machine to a 120 for home heating. It has the Vonnet's Wi-Fi card in it, so you don't need to plug it up with Ethernet. You can literally just get it on Wi-Fi and hash with it in a regular outlet. So altertech.io was kind enough last year to give away two Erlachers for the event, and we kept that going this year and just gave somebody a miner, put it in a good home. A lot of things are changing in mining, and Avalon has come out with a lot of home heating Bitcoin mining units, and I think the age of Loki is kind of fading away a bit.
Hmm.
It served its purpose for a long time.
Well, things move on.
They do. But whatever you're looking for an Erlacher build, a Loki rig, a bit chimney, any of the Avalon products, altertech.io has available. And winter, of course, is coming, even though it's in the 90s here today. It's hard to think about heating your home with miners, but now is a good time to get prepared for that. If you need Loki parts, altertech.io has those on hand. Any of the Loki stuff that you'd be ordering from them to convert your machines over to 120 are brand new. APW3 Plus is new. The Vonnet's card new. This isn't used junk that he's selling you. If you want something purpose built, like from Avalon to heat your home. There are a few different offerings there. The Avalon Q is kind of the newest, hottest thing. That's a pretty good price. Like I said, I'm at the well, so I don't have my normal, my normal stuff in front of me
Hmm.
to quote you all of the prices. But you can scale up if you're scaling up. If you're a pleb miner turning into a pioneer and need parts, fans, fan grills, connectors, control boards, power supplies, miners at fantastic prices. On our last Action News show, we really went over the Sealminer A2. I think that's a great value. I just did a whole write up for a natural gas well who's playing with getting into mining, and he's like, "Well, how much money can I make? How much is it going to cost me?" And I said, "I tell you what,
Not
you
much.
just not much. Don't worry about it. You got a cool mill. What's it to you?" But I priced it out on three different miners. You know, a used unit from Mega Miner, Mega Miner. Nick and Alex really have some great deals on used miners right now.
Hmm.
If you're looking for new, of course, altertech.io is our sponsor.
And of
The
course, use
Sealminer
code
882.
ungovernable.
Thank you very much. What was that, Max?
Use code ungovernable for a discount.
That's right. Additional 1% discount, and we get a kickback on that. So
We
thank you
do.
very much. This Sealminer A2 really came in at a great price point. And when I was looking at the numbers, I was like, you know what? If this was my money, that's what I kept saying to these people. If this was my
Hmm.
money, I'd seriously consider the Sealminer A2. And A3 should be coming out soon. But whatever your miner needs are, visit altertech.io. Upon checkout, use promo code.
Ungovernable.
So next to our friend Carl was another long time Meshtadelian and like super performer in the Meshtadel. A good friend of ours, Augie. He had cheese that he was there to sell. I bought 2 big wheels of cheese from him. And on the other book end of Meshtadhill was our good friend Otis Bittmeyer, who, if you tune into their podcast, Sound Coffee Fundamentals, and Otis Bittmeyer, they talk about it a little bit more, but I'll go over it. He had his school bus there, which he and his family live in, essentially. A converted school bus with solar panels on the roof. This is much like the dream that Sat Stacking Pleb has and is building. If those that remember that recent Pleb Miner in the Wild episode that we did with Sat Stacking Pleb, Otis has a similar setup with his just beautiful, wonderful wife and great kids. This is just a wonderful family, like people you want to be around. You know, when you went over to their school bus and went over to their pop up coffee shop with a record player and Otis manning his coffee station, grinding beans, doing the pour over in front of you, handing you a cup of coffee that you just can't get anywhere else. As you know, I drink a lot of Otis Spittmeyer coffee. That's my morning routine. The morning routine there, uh, waking up, of course, because there's already birds singing and the sun shining, and you can't help but wake up at 5 something in the morning there, and you waddle on over to Otis's campsite, and there's probably a fire going already, and that guy is already brewing coffee. And when he hands you that cup of coffee, whew, it's just the best. It's the best cup of coffee that you can get anywhere.
You can't start your day a better way.
No, no, I kept saying to him, God, when I make coffee, it tastes pretty good, but this is
Mm.
beyond. You can taste the love.
It's art.
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly is. So Meshtad Hill was the place to be. Between the lake and the hill, I really didn't go anywhere else. That's where I wanted to be, was on that hill. There were a few times where Solex and I just kind of stepped back and said, like, can you believe I said this to him and Solex boy, when you guys like first worked up the Meshtadel theory, that Citadel 21 article, even before they recorded
Mm.
the thing for you. And of course, everybody knows you have to record things for Max because he's absolutely dyslexic and he will not read an article. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, the people that are closest to Max are those that are willing to record something that they've written for him.
Send a voice note.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen you do that so many times. Like this big write up. Hey, can you send me a voice note on that?
TGDR is what people get now. Too gay, didn't read.
Didn't read. Record voice note.
Yeah.
Where we sat back and said, like, I can't believe all of these. these years now of phone calls on the 8th of every month. Those have kind of dropped off since I've been busy, but the nature of the phone calls that we have, the Meshtadel calls, and talking about parenting and the mesh economy, community, all the different topics that we've had in Meshtadel calls, and the time we've spent communicating with one another, either in Telegram groups or Signal groups or through the Ungovernable Misfits podcast. It was all made real. It was the Meshtadel made real. And I just remember just sitting there with Solex, like, you know, our arms around each other's shoulders, like how buddies stand side by side, and just thinking like, wow, we had a part in this. It was really, really special. And anytime I get to spend physical time with Solex is truly a blessing, because I couldn't have imagined that years ago, that this guy who I respect and have now, grown to love like a brother, is there with me, and our families, our daughters are just out playing.
Yeah, that's so nice.
I'm talking to Solex Boy, and hearing all of his theories on the world, and what an interesting young man he's growing to be. It's neat because it's like you go back to that recording and you hear, "This is Solex Boy," and now
Yeah, yeah.
it's not Solex Boy. It's now Solex, the Solex Boy.
Solex man.
Yes, he's turning into Solex Man.
Yeah.
We're growing together as a community develops and evolves. This isn't just some group of internet friends anymore.
Yeah, it's like proving out the theory, isn't it?
It sure as fuck is. Proving out the Meshtadel theory of all these nodes building independently, but still being interconnected and benefiting from those connections with one another.
Mm.
The mesh economy was working. And so here are two of our mesh economy members just selling tons of candles, lemonade, and coffee. And all Otis's coffee was value for value.
Hmm.
Everybody was showing up there, and he just had a QR code randomly, like, what do you think this cup of coffee is worth to you? Okay, that's good. I'll be pouring it anyway. For instance, I had a bunch of cedar telephone pole chunks
Hmm.
there with me that I brought, that I was splitting for people so they could have kindling. When we take down a cedar telephone pole, most of the telephone poles that we take down nowadays are pine,
Hmm.
or the treated lumber, which is
Yeah.
copper arsenic. So that stuff doesn't split very well, and copper arsenic doesn't really make good kindling, safe kindling.
Hmm.
But the old
No.
cedar telephone poles are fantastic for kindling. They split so easy, and I just spent a few minutes and I got somebody kindling for an entire weekend. So I traded kindling for some coffee for Sarah and I. Just really great value for value exchange.
Did Solex have any of his clothing?
So we had activities for the kids. Solex brought over a lot of his honey bat gear stuff, like pre-printed honey bat gear. You can't say it any other way. Honey
Yeah,
bat gear.
Honeybat Gear. Nice.
He had a lot of that, and he had iron-on prints that
Okay.
he custom made. So
Nice.
all of my kids had their nicknames he already done, and we set up a station with an iron and a table. And Solex would, we said to the kids, we said to everybody, like, bring your own shirts, and
Hmm.
Solex will iron on the custom prints that he made, and then you can go back to another station and paint your the outline of it on the shirt.
Oh.
So all of my kids had their nicknames. He had Meshtadhill
Hmm.
ones printed out. He had Lake Satoshi ones printed out. 2025, so you could just put the design wherever you want to, and make it your own. And the kids really, really enjoyed that activity.
Nice.
So much so that it was kind of like all the kids came at one time, because I put in the little Lake Satoshi Telegram group, like, hey, come up on Meshtadhill. We're doing the kids screen printing now. And so
Mm.
Lex had some shirts there for them, and they were just like grabbing shirts. And he's like, well, you're supposed to pay for those. It was kind of madness for a little bit, and Solex is like jamming down on this iron to get these prints on as fast as he could, so the kids can go back and paint it. But it was really neat later on that night seeing all the kids, and this, well, I guess I'll pivot to the kids stuff, but seeing all the kids there with their Honey Bad Gear custom
Mm.
T-shirts running around, that was just really special.
That's the next generation. So, like, seeing the kids start to become friends and get closer is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's real because my girls got phone numbers from the other girls, and now they're all texting each other or whatever form of communication they use. They don't like text each other. They don't call each
Hmm.
other. They don't text each other. It's very weird the way they
Mm.
communicate with each other. It's like a new level of memes. Anyway, that's
Sorry,
the,
mate.
the,
I've got someone knocking on my bloody door. Just give me a
are you all right?
second.
Mm-hmm.
One sec. Fuck's sake. Oh, always some cunt at the door.
Can't people leave you alone?
That's what I ask myself every day. Oh, right. Do I sound how I did before? Because sometimes it
Yeah.
disconnects. Okay,
Nope.
fine.
Nope. Yep. You're fine.
Okay, where do we get to? Kids connections.
When we got there first night, it was just my oldest and I that drove, and we wanted to set up our campsite first before Sarah and the other two girls got there. And so I took the bookend of Meshtadhill and I set up our site. Sarah and I had a big like glamping teepee tent. You could even stand
Nice.
up in it. It was
Ooh,
a pretty nice thing. And off to the side there, I put the girls and the truck beside that, and I had a generator in the back, and then my little station for splitting wood. And I put up tiki torches to try to mitigate some of the mosquitoes there, and set up Solex's tent next to us, and then had another area for whenever Bubba got into town. So that was our little compound there. And
nice.
in the front of that, I'd set up two canopies or little coverall tents with
Hmm.
tables there, so we can do the t-shirt station, and just have a place for us, all of us, to commune with one another. But that first night, my oldest daughter, once we got set up, she couldn't wait to go down to the beach pavilion area and meet the other kids.
Hmm.
And I want to say something about her. I had got so many compliments from parents that were like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that your daughter is just really incredible." And we were so busy, and this happened a lot, and it probably wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but a lot of people were just like, "Well, let the kids run wild. This is a high trust
Hmm.
event, and everybody's relatively close, so let the kids just go." But of course, as I mentioned last year, mixing kids and water, especially adventurous kids
Yeah.
whose parents are already, you know, very tied into being independent people, and that
Hmm.
transfers to your children. Let this plane fly overhead. Hey, go record a podcast on the backside of a local airport. Fucking good idea, dipshit. It adds color to the show. And
It does.
she so many times I just looked over and she had somebody's kid on her hip, and she's a young lady, and you don't start thinking about grandkids quite yet. But there were times that just passed through Sarah and I's head, like, wow, look at her.
Mm.
She's gonna make such a great mother. Look at her natural instincts to shepherd all of these children and take care of them. She really just, I mean, I could kind of get emotional about it. I just so impressed with her as a young lady. She balanced it well. There were times she's like, "All right, I've had enough of you kids. I'm gonna go hang out with the older
Yeah.
kids now, and we're gonna go
Yeah.
do older kid things. I'm not gonna babysit everybody's kids the entire time." But I had quite a few people come up to me and said, "Hey, your daughter just like took my kids and played with them and took care of them and made sure that they ate and they had water and that they were
Oh,
safe swimming and stuff like that." Kudos to you as a parent for raising a child like that.
that's a very nice thing to hear.
I and kudos to the parents for recognizing that, you
Mm.
know, and coming up and thanking her and thanking us. There were these two little girls, maybe like 2-3 years old,
Hmm.
and I almost said her name. My oldest daughter would just grip them up and play with them and mother them and take care of them. And man, that was really special. My middle daughter had found a friend first, you know, 5 minutes that they got there. They got out of Sarah's van and just took off. grabbed other little kids' hands and went towards the lake or went to go do something. And she had her own little clan of friends there the entire time.
A little ungovernable crew.
Oh, you got that right. It was just like at home. They would check in, up at our campsite. They were all hanging out at our campsite. That's the way our home is in real life. I've described that quite often on the show, that
Hmm.
we're like the center of the universe for our neighborhood and our family, and we've got lots of land and basketball court and pickleball court and all that stuff at our house for people to for kids to entertain themselves. And we're always making food for all the kids, and it was very much like that up at Meshtadhill, especially when Barn got there with his RV, and we had more cooking area, just making burgers and dogs for everybody, and all the kids came up. But more than anything, my youngest daughter got the most attention because she demands that kind of attention. Day one of her being there the entire day in the morning, I get up, go down to the pavilion thinking I'm going to get some quiet time. No, of course not. She's following me down to the pavilion, within about 5 minutes of being down there. And quite often, what everybody does is just start the big fire down there and keep that going all day. So her and there was another guy there. I won't mention his name because it doesn't really matter, but we've known each other for a long time. And a lot of people have a certain opinion about this guy. And it was really nice to spend time with him outside of the Telegram groups,
Hmm.
outside of the attacks and the accusations, and just see people for the fallible but still good human being that they can be. And I just saw this guy in a different light than I ever have before. And it was really nice to see that, what, for the most part, people are just people. And he was really good with my youngest, mainly because a lot of people, she's a whole lot, you know, and he was very patient with her. So they had started this fire together,
Hmm.
and she was going around to people saying, "Hey, we started this fire over here. Come and warm yourself by the fire," because the nights were pretty chilly. It was really great sleeping weather. Oh man, if I could have, I would have slept longer than like 3 or 4 hours a night, because the sleeping weather was just fantastic. Real chilly and kind of
Mm.
damp in the morning. And she's inviting people over to the fire and then putting more wood on the fire. And after they were there for a couple minutes, she was saying to them, "Hey, I'm going to need you to give me some money to be at the fire, because I'm putting wood on the fire here, and that's not free."
That's excellent.
Oh yeah, she's just such a capitalist. But we've never raised her to be like she's in the mafia. Like, hey, I'm keeping this fire going here. This wood's not free. This fire doesn't come from nowhere. I make it. You're going to need to pay up for that. And people thought it was just hilarious. If we said to her, next year, we're just going to make her a T-shirt that has a QR code on it, and people would just send her. So she'd make a couple $1,000 there, guarantee. Just hustling.
Sounds like it.
She is absolutely a hustler. She went from that to when all the little stands up in Meshtadhill got going. She was going up into the lemonade stand and like, "Hey, I now work for you in the lemonade stand," and going
Oh.
around and making lemonade stand and being like, "Hey, now you got to pay me for this work that I did." Went went over to the family who we really don't know at all. The family that was doing the freeze dried candies, and be like, "Oh, I'm going to come in here too now. Do you need any help selling this stuff?" So either mooching people for money or free lemonade or free candy by saying, I work for you now.
You know what? It's a bold strategy, but it might work. She can just go in anywhere she wants. She's like, I'll work for you now. You will
Hmm.
pay me.
Yeah, and then well, here's another story. Taking over the business eventually. So we had everybody over. I think the last night we had a campfire. There was a guy there playing guitar. Boy, Living Good maybe is his last name. He's a professional musician, kind of bluegrass type music, folk music,
Hmm.
great campfire music. I said to him at the end, I said, "You know what? You created such an ambiance, an environment, and vibe for that campfire the last night. Like I couldn't have imagined the event without that music." and it was just, he was just playing softly. He wasn't trying to be the center of attention. I could just imagine in the Highlands of Scotland, 200 years ago, that sheep herders were just sitting around a campfire playing this kind of music and just having that tone. Like, people just had an instrument, because what are you going to do the last 2-3 hours of darkness a
Hmm.
night? It just had that feeling to it. And if you know anything about like Appalachia and bluegrass music, that area of the United States is very Scottish. So
Hmm.
that musical heritage, Irish, Scottish, that musical heritage came over into Appalachia, and that's the impetus for bluegrass. So there was just like this spiritual connection there with him playing music. So everybody was at the campfire, and people had brought over s'mores. So we had a nice campfire with those tables and everything up front.
Hmm.
And the youngest just took over s'mores operations, just opened up people's boxes of s'mores. And Nick Nick Foster, his wife Sarah were there. The whole Mega Miner clan was there at the campfire. And Sarah's a really sweet person, and they got a little baby, and so all my kids were playing with the baby. And the youngest starts making s'mores and then handing them out to people and saying, like, okay, that'll be, she just made up a number. That'll be like 500 sats. That'll be 200 sats
Yeah.
for the s'mores. And after about 10 minutes or so, she's ordering Nick's wife, like, hey, I'm going to need you to make 2 more marshmallows for me. Well, Sarah Foster's the one that brought the brought the s'mores to begin with. So not only did she steal her inventory, but then she put her to work.
That's brilliant.
It, and she does this so matter of factly, like, hey, I'm going to need you to go ahead and give me 2 more of those. And we're like,
It's like a
wait,
Jedi mind trick.
mm-hmm, absolutely.
You
She's
will
going to be
work for me.
rich. This is where I think we're just going to pivot everything into her, and she's going to
Hmm.
be like our way out of the rat race.
Oh, we should have seen that. That's so good.
Yeah. Max, the number of people that ask about you there was just like, I got sick of it.
What's come on? What's really wrong with him?
Where's Max? How's Max? What's Max like? Boy,
Awful.
people really like you.
That's why I don't go. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, it's nice to be liked. I don't want to go and ruin it.
Yeah.
You know what
It
I mean?
turns out this guy's an antisocial fuck.
Yeah. He's an absolute prick.
I thought you were cool.
Yeah. And always seem to be dealing with some absolute bullshit around this time. It's always around this time something just comes out and just swings for my head.
Well, I know you'll be there someday.
Someday I will. Someday I will. I'd love to go. There's so many people that I'd love to see in real life
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
annoy.
The hugs. You get a
Mm.
lot of hugs, man.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I just want to say for late stage huddle. That guy's a good hugger.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
He's a
imagine
big
that.
guy. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? He can really grip you up. Give
Mm.
you a big hug.
I'd like that. I'd like that very much. Well, maybe next year.
Okay.
But as you know, like I say, just something every fucking
I
year
know.
that it just something comes, and it's never like a minor, like we've got a leak at home or something like that. It's like fucking
Your life is falling apart.
yeah, yeah. Like just every time, it's like proper fucking bullshit, and then I just can't. So, but one day it will happen.
Well, I hope so. It really will fill your soul with love and happiness, and also to know that sometimes I think, like today, I don't have time for the podcast today to do the show that I like to do, to be fully prepared. I just came here to speak from my heart about Lake Satoshi, and then I have to get right back to tons and tons and tons of work.
Hmm.
And there are times, and I know I've done this to you in the past, where like, you know what, I just can't do it. I just can't do. We'll have to go till next week. And you're like, oh, great, Mike, because we've backed up on shows and
Yeah,
editing.
yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah.
That
Good.
kind of and believe it or not, everybody, it's happened quite a few times throughout the years.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I think I think sometimes we say to ourselves, well, why are we doing this? Especially for you, like
Mm.
after what, eight years now of doing between bit by bit and this.
7 years, I think.
Okay, 7.
Yeah, I
How many
think so.
times? How many times a month do you go? Fuck it. Maybe I don't want to do this
Oh,
anymore.
don't know. It depends on the month. There are months where
Yeah, me
every
too.
day I wake up and I think, "Fucking, what am I doing?" And then there's like 2 or 3 months where I'm like, "No, this is good. Like I'm enjoying this. I'm getting
Yeah.
something back. People are enjoying it. I've got some comments, people saying they're liking what we're doing, and everything's chugging along smoothly and things are going to plan, and I've got some good guests and I'm enjoying doing our sort of weeklies and bi-weeklies and all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. And then yeah, there are other months where it's like, oh my god, what the fuck.
That's with any project, really.
I guess so.
But you know what? I left you a message, and I want to say this to you on air. The impact of ungovernable misfits and how much people appreciate you and all the work that we do here, all the work that Crown puts into his art and the website, and the work that Jordan puts in, and Q and Seth and the entire Ungovernable Misfits family, and Karam and his heart and his editing. People really do appreciate it, and they appreciate the diversity, actual diversity. You know, not forced diversity,
Yeah.
the diversity of thought and ideas and programs that we have on Ungovernable Misfits. I got a lot of compliments on Ungovernable Misfits as a whole. So to everybody, to you, Max, to Jordan, Karam, Q, Seth, and even Expatriotic, it matters. The stuff we're doing matters to people, and they really do appreciate it. That absolutely filled my heart
Yeah, that's
there.
nice to hear. That is nice to hear, because yeah, sometimes you think like, am I just shouting into the void? Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
When you get positive feedback like that does mean a lot, because a lot of thought goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just make the same show that every other podcast has and just have the same circuit. You like we try very hard to kind of, I guess, cover all the stuff that we think matters, whether that's like the privacy side of things and the tech side of things, or like what we're talking about now, which is like the actual connections with people and like smaller businesses, and trying to support people who have goods and services and selling them for Bitcoin, that kind of stuff. Like, I like to think that we cover lots of different things. So it is good to hear that,
Yeah.
yeah, that people care, and like production value and artwork and all that kind of stuff. Because sometimes you think like, God, if we just didn't bother with the
Mm.
production value and the editing, like, would anyone really care? If we didn't bother with the artwork, would anyone really care? If we didn't bother with the chapters and the groups that go off the side of it, and Telegram groups, and like, if we didn't do the calls and if we didn't do the live shows, like, does it matter? But maybe it does.
It does. I think there'd be a hole if we
Mm.
didn't. I had one guy come up to me and said, "Hey, I recognized your voice. Are you John?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I just
That's
want to
cool.
let you know, like, I just recently got into you guys' pod, and I just love what you guys do." I was like, "Wow, man, thanks.
That's cool.
That's really." I don't know what to say. Here, do you want a hamburger? You know, let me pivot because I don't, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, that is nice.
It was special. You weren't there physically, the rest of the
They're in spirit.
ungovernable crew, yeah, but you all were there in spirit. As I'm rocking my everything I wear is Crown's artwork. I had stickers there. I gave a few stickers away to people. um you know like, Crown doesn't see it, but you were there because your artwork was there.
Yeah.
Everybody's soul and spirit was there. So thank you to Mike, Bitcoin101.io. Thank you to PF for all of you guys' hard work. You made a part of the Meshtadel very real and tangible for lots of people.
Yeah. And myself included, anyone who hasn't yet made it out there, put it loosely in your diary for next year. Just put a little mark there. Try and block that time out. See if you can get out to Lake Satoshi next year.
Before we'll go ahead and finish with boosts from the Regenerescence Man
Mm-hmm.
episode with
Great name.
Joel.
Yep.
But before we do that, I just want to say I did this at the beginning, but I'm going to do it again. Thank you so much, Chet, for your heart and your spirit and your enthusiasm
And your
and
beard.
your beard, of course. Your enthusiasm for community and just what a loving, giving person you are. And
Hmm.
he's going to say, I'm a piece of shit. No, you're not. You're
No, you're not.
you're not. You're
No.
just a wonderful, beautiful soul, and you are very much responsible for a lot of the Lake Satoshi feeling.
Hmm.
There's so much of Chet in Lake Satoshi, and the most beautiful sides of that man are just uh, on display at Lake Satoshi when
Hmm.
he's up for like 3 days in a row. You know, driving the side by sides around and picking up trash and letting people know where you can set up your RV and get water and get power.
Mm.
Just he's a huge part of that organization as well. And special shout out to you, my friend.
Shout out, chat.
I don't like that shout out.
Well,
I'll
you
stop
just said
saying it.
it. You
I
just said
know.
it.
I know. I don't want to. I'm not gonna say shout outs anymore.
What are you going to say then? You have to change it.
No, I don't. I don't. It doesn't have to be one thing. I'll just be creative.
Okay.
All right. You got your support for the show up.
Yep. Am I blue?
Of course, you're blue. Dabu dee dabu
Okay.
da.
Hugh Giles. Canforth loads with 0.01488 XMR. Cease and desist making fun of the Loads family name. We didn't make our fortune in the supplement industry to be mocked so childishly, especially on such fifth rate radio show.
Wow,
If this
5.
continues, you'll hear from my lawyer, Whitman, Price, and Haddad.
We better tread carefully with Hugh Jizzy loads.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Hugh Jizzy Loads. I do feel that's a bit harsh, though. Fifth rate radio show. But okay.
Hugh Giles Canforth loads. What a name.
8 Mithrandir with 7,777 sats says Joel is the Ben Gunn I can understand. So many well spoken points were made. The anarchists will not organize. It's a matter of principle.
You want to see anarchy organized? Lake Satoshi is a great example of that.
Mm.
Yeah, I thought, man, it's almost a shame this can be a short episode, but I thought eventually you will need some sort of governance structure here. And I know, like, you hate when I do that conversation
Hmm.
in the Meshtadel talk about governance. Oh,
Really
fuck, I'll
annoys
talk
me.
about governance. But it doesn't always happen organically. Like, eventually somebody's going to have to be responsible for where the shit goes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
somebody in this group would have to be this sanitation guy. Somebody would have to take care of all of the waste that would come from all of these humans if we lived in a community here.
Hmm.
I thought to myself, I could do that. I could get up early and just dig holes and cover up holes.
I can see that.
That'd be my job. I volunteer for it.
Yeah.
Seems peaceful. Stinky,
Okay.
but peaceful.
Yeah. It's an important job. Very important
Yeah, it
job.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Otis Bitmeyer says, holding space until the miracle arrives. I don't know what that means. Holding space until the miracle arrives.
No ideas what that means.
Nope.
I don't know. Maybe it means, you're leaving the door open, leaving yourself open for opportunities. So this was related to the Joel episode and community building and tribe building down there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it means something like that. Eventually, that community can take off and people
Okay.
can move there and become a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess. What do
Okay.
you mean by that, Otis? Let us know a little bit more.
Thank you for the message.
Next up is Jake Woodhouse. Loving this. You can't eat sats. Critical. Akin to you can't live in a Bitcoin. Those are both Ben Gunn episodes. Makes me really think about some of the similar projects I've seen in Australia and wonder where they got to. As an urban based investor, it's also cool to consider how I could hemp with financing, so long as I team up with someone I can trust out in the field. Well, trust is everything, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Big hugger, late stage hodl. Big cuddly hugger. Keep up the good work. I love these boosts since they just randomly go from something deep to something like super gay. Either way, I love you all, no homo. Even if you call your lady gloves marigolds. Joel has some serious quotes from this episode. Please let me know when someone has compiled them all. Maybe this would be worth paying Fountain for the transcript on this one. I'm
Mm.
sure it won't work, like most things in Fountain for me. Perhaps we could just provide you with the transcript because we
We
have
can do
access
that.
to that. Yeah,
We can do
very
that. Yeah,
very easy.
we have other software that works.
Jordan, can you please send Late Stage Hodl a transcript of the Regenerescence Man episode
Thanks, mate.
as another fucking plane flies overhead? Chad Farrow and 33 others. This is one of the best Bitcoin podcasts I've heard in a while. I could listen to Joel talk for hours about what he's doing. We also need the videos of Joel saying hi to the cattle in the pasture again. I've always enjoyed those. He does have such a deep connection with those animals. Richard Greaser streamed 2,430 sats. Shadowy Super Badger, another Australia resident, streamed 1,920 sats. Bullish Mike, this one's a must listen. Fire, peppered with wisdom. Thanks, chaps. You're quite welcome, Bullish Mike. Stack Jarrow, I heard a reflection of myself in the discussion about lone wolf mentality, and it has led me to Bitcoin, Noster, and the ungovernable misfits. I've noticed a lot of the victim mentality echoing in the Bitcoin sphere. Oh, yeah. Particularly in
Hmm.
podcasts and social media, mentioning blame on centralized banks, inflation, cantillionaires, and so on. But I think the real issue lies with people's time preference and their craving for convenience. Well said, sir.
Hmm.
Which the system facilitates more easily. This UGMF podcast was incredibly high in signal, and the segment about the person leading by example and working hard to be better than others, daring to show up 100%, was truly inspiring. It's
Mm.
something to mirror oneself after, as it shows the transformation from a lone wolf to becoming part of a team. Very great boost, Stack Jarrow. Thank you.
That is a great boost. And sometimes when you have people who are leading the way, like a Joel or like a Ben Gunn, then you also
Mm-hmm.
get some people with like jealousy and be like, oh, fucking hell, they think they're better than us. It's like, well, guess what? They fucking are. They are better
And
than you because they're actually doing
mm,
it. So why don't
yeah,
you use that as a fire in your belly to go and do better rather than whinge?
I was just going to say the same thing. Like when I see and Ben is doing so much more than any of you even know.
Oh,
You could
fucking hell.
literally have him on the podcast once a week, just
Yeah.
rambling on about
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Yep.
Like the Scouse Chihuahua. All these different things you describe him as.
Yeah, I literally have him in my ear every day at the moment. Every day.
But his well of ideas and energy
Yeah.
and willingness and know how to act upon those ideas is
Mm.
is fucking incredible.
Hmm.
I Joel and Ben Gunn light a fire in my belly.
Hmm.
So I do get like jealous and envious of them and their work ethic and their creativity and ability. And I say to myself, not fuck them, but I want to be like them. What can I take from them and implement in my own life to be a more productive person?
That's the way to look at things is like, don't get jealous of, oh, this person's doing this. And blah, blah, blah. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, just use it as that this is what can be done. You can do
Mm-hmm.
it too. Just got to work really fucking hard.
Yeah, you might not have the same results as them, but
Hmm.
you'll have something that looks like you.
Yeah.
Next up is Pies. He says, "Let's fucking go, Miss John and his rants. Salute, salute, salute. Strong arm, strong arm, strong arm. Sorry, no
Hey,
rants on
pies.
this episode either.
Nope.
No ranting.
AIBLE. Great singing, John, and awesome intro. This was such a good story and conversation. I feel like I need to listen to it twice to catch all of the jewels of wisdom that were dropped here. Joel's point about being solid in your foundation of Christ and not being distracted by existential crisis of self-identity was spot on and wise. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will succeed. Proverb 16:3. Great proverb.
Thanks, brother Abel. Yeah, I appreciate that. ASIC instructions before leaving Earth. He didn't leave any songs for me to sing in this one, so thanks for
Okay.
that too.
Pi says America equals gold, England equals shit, and then dogging laughing emoji. Words getting out there.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what
Noster
dogging is
gang.
now.
They're called dish gloves. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Thanks, Noster Gang.
Yeah.
Now he knows.
Well, that was a short and sweet episode. I have another person about to knock on my door. Is there anything we didn't cover there? That was nice. I enjoyed that. That was nice to hear some good, positive stuff about community and the kids getting together and
Oh,
all that kind of stuff. It was heartwarming.
I have something I have to read, so we'll go out on this. We probably did. I probably did miss a few things, and if I did, go ahead and those that attended Lake Satoshi, boost the show on whatever
Hmm.
platform you care to, or send Max and I a message or a voice note, preferably for
Hmm.
him,
Yep.
as to what Lake Satoshi meant to you and the things that you
Nice.
experienced there. My beautiful wife, Sarah, who was wearing her Hash Sluts baseball jersey with Hash Sluts on the back and the number 21 as her number. And on the front, it had her name, Tammy,
Debbie.
right there on the front of Tammy's baseball jersey. So here is from Tammy Debbie. She says, Lake Satoshi was so much deeper than I thought, boasting a tranquil oasis for those who love the great outdoors and Bitcoin culture. My takeaway was much greater. I spend my days talking to normies, or rather having them talk to me as I do their hair. I enjoy lending an ear. Sometimes that's all someone needs is another to listen. But as I have evolved over the years, I find myself removed from the typical societal ways of thinking, making true connections difficult. I do have many good friends that each serve my soul in one way or another, and I'm thankful for them. We have no family where we live, which makes for an emptiness, especially when my children point out how they wish they had extended family presence. And please pause for airplane. That was actually a helicopter.
Okay.
We first visited Lake Satoshi for the 2023 retreat. We went without our children, seeing it as an opportunity to have a much needed weekend getaway. The event wasn't very large yet, offering more opportunity to get to know other attendees. It was very enjoyable, and we left with a nice sense of community. I had to miss the event in 2024 as our oldest was sick with pneumonia. My husband took our younger two children, that's me, I'm the husband, to the event, and the joy that they came home with was contagious. Stories of others looking out for our daughters, that was Shadrach, and Otis's wife then, especially our precocious 5-year old, who's now 6, who at one point took it upon herself to swim to the middle of the lake to try to catch a ride on a speedboat. Everyone came home looking forward to the next retreat. Finally, it was time, Lake Satoshi 2025. I would like to preface this with the disclaimer that I am not an outdoorsy person. Oh boy. Which is why I had to go there a day before and set up this glamorous camping site for her. Not because I'm against it, but because I have no experience with it. It intimidates me, which I realize is ridiculous. Knowing that my uncomfortableness makes me irrational, my wonderful husband was sure to get to the campsite a day early to get everything set up. It was perfect, ensuring I couldn't state a single complaint. Wow. Can you imagine that, everyone?
I
Not
can't.
a single complaint, which is true. Thank you for that. By the way, our drive was long, which was supposed to take 5.5 hours, took 9. Those last couple of hours had me convinced that I would never do this again. Everything melted away as I pulled onto the property. I enjoyed staying on theme, so I was sure to play Bob Seger as I circled the lake. Roll me away, if you were wondering. The girls were in their bathing suits and on paddle boards within seconds of arriving, joining the other children that they were already having the times of their lives. Like old friends that you haven't seen in years, but get along as if no time has passed at all. There were no anxieties at Lake Satoshi, no judgments, The sense of community is all encompassing. You're at ease, totally comfortable in your own skin, knowing that everyone there is supportive and interested in what you have to bring to the community. It was like being at a reunion with so many people that you actually want to catch up with. Our children enjoyed their freedom time there. Spending time with other kids from the like minded families perhaps brought a sense of ease. Our time there was too brief, a mistake we won't make again. To see our girls enjoying friends like having that extended family they've longed for made it worth the drive tenfold. As our campfire continued and others with less heavy eyelids continued the conversations, I went to sleep in our tent, so enjoying the peace the day had brought. Recognizing that my heart was full, my mind considered the ways that I could contribute more next year. Thankful for the new connections, although most were too brief. The gentle strum of a guitar outside the tent lulled me to sleep, the perfect ending to a perfect day. Until next year, Lake Satoshi, thank you for feeding my soul.
That's lovely. Thanks, Tammy.
Debbie.
That is nice, though. That is lovely when you like if you can bring your whole family, and your wife has a great time, and your kids have a great time, and everyone just enjoys their time. There's no moaning or whinging, and you're out in the great outdoors. Like it doesn't really get better than that, does it?
It sure doesn't. You and I have had the conversation many times, especially on the mining show, that don't be the dad in the basement
Mm-hmm.
playing with your little toys and not involving the rest of your family because
Mm-hmm.
that's not the way to really build out your Meshtadel.
No, it is not.
Well, close us out, Max.
I wish I was there. It sounded incredible. Thank
You will
you,
be.
Tammy. Thank you, everyone who was there, making our dreams a reality.
Yeah, making our work a reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will catch up in 2 weeks. I think in 2 weeks we're both going to be in a better space. Do you know?
Oh, I sure hope so, buddy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we will. I think we
Yep.
will. All right, mate. Well, as always, it was lovely speaking to you. Thank you to everyone listening, and we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.